there's something called polyvagal theory, which some people may be familiar with or not. It's kind of a cutting edge in the therapeutic domain. It talks about the vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve in the body. Goes from the brainstem all the way down to the small intestine in the gut, and that there are three different responses, which are actually four different responses that we can have to fear or to challenging situations. And one of them is the sort of fight and panic mode. The first two are connected with what's called the sympathetic place in the vagus nerve, which is the fight or flight experience. And the fight experience expresses itself through sort of a panic and a hoarding or a freaking out, buying all the toilet paper and then buying a gun to protect it all. Right? That's the sort of the fight experience. And then there's as well in the sympathetic nerve, there's the flight experience, and the flight is more of the denial, the kind of avoidant, detached or downplaying the scenario, right? It's kind of like, oh, what's the big deal? It's just like the flu. Come on, get over it. Like, don't buy into the fear. That's the avoidant, And then the base of the vagus nerve is the dorsal vagal, and the dorsal vagal is the place of collapse, and it's the place of actually the animals play dead until they hope that their predator, that the threat, thinks they're dead and goes and moves on. So they literally collapse and freeze, and that's the freeze response. And that response, in a way, is kind of like, well, in a certain way, like, what can I do, right? I'm hearing layers of that kind of in what you shared, Melanie. What can I do? I've got to just ride this out. Like, there's not much I can do. And there's layers of each that come through us, in different moments. And then there's the ventral vagal, which is the top of the vagus nerve, which is the place of safety, which feels I can meet this emergency. I have the capacity to meet what's coming at me. It feels safe enough, regulated enough to meet this emergency. And I think that from that place, we're able to make contact with the fear. We're able to feel the fear, allow it to bring its message and communication to us of vulnerability, and then to feel safe enough to act, and then take an empowered stance into what's coming at us, what we're meeting right now. So what does that mean, an empowered stance? It means to say, like, well, what's this doing for me, inside of me? What is this experience doing to me? Can I really open and listen to that? And I think too, again, Pesach is the same thing. It's like we go into this transformational experience of the Seder, of actually, it starts way before that, like the preparation, like looking for the chametz, cleaning it out, relating to chametz in the different ways, the unleavened bread, in different ways that it can relate to us psychologically or emotionally. And then we get to the Seder, and it's this opportunity for transformation if we take it, if we stop and we take it in and we allow it to do its thing to us. I'm even feeling, just like waves of emotion that arise when I feel into that the medicine comes in, and we can push it out, we can force it out, we can try to block it from coming in, or we can say yes. We can take it in and allow it to do what it needs to do, which is to get us thinking, what can we do, right? Do I have no power here? Am I powerless? Do I need to just ride this out? Or is there another opportunity? Is another option? Is there another option? Is there some empowered way that I can meet this? Even if it's just transforming my own way of looking at life, or my own relationship to my partner or my children, right? Like, it's like sometimes we see transformation and doing something in these big ways that are actually not realistic, and they actually stunt us from doing the real change and having the real impact that we could have if we weren't like confused by an expectation that's too great. So actually, let me read you something that just came through to me today, which I feel like is really touches on this point. This is from Emma Zach. With this open time, you do not have to write the next best-selling novel. You do not have to get in the best shape of your life. You do not have to start that podcast. What you can do instead is observe this pause as an opportunity. The same systems we see crumbling in society are being called to crumble in each of us individually. The systems that taught us we are machines that live to produce, and we are disposable if we are disposable if we are not doing so. The systems that taught us we are machines that live to produce, and we are disposable if we are not doing so. The systems that taught us monetary gain takes priority over humanity. The systems that create our insecurities then capitalize off of them. That create our insecurities and capitalize off of them. What if we became curious with this free time and had no agenda other than to experience being? What if you created art for the sake of creating? What if you allowed yourself to rest and cry and laugh and play and get curious about whatever arises in you? What if our true purpose in this space, what if this is our true purpose in this space? As if Mother Earth is saying, we can no longer carry on this way. The time is now. I am reminding you who you are. Will you remember?